on security for $4.75. President Bush, he moved the minimum wage up to $5.15. After the Reagan administration came the Bush administration, Bush father, senior. And that's how the 515 came. And 515 lasted for a long time. Now, if you just started working, you came in at the 515, and then you start complaining, this ain't enough money. But I was working for $4.75 6 or 7 years before you started working, and you complain about it ain't enough. It's more than enough if you're making it $4.75. And I think they should keep it at increments of 50 cents. Don't just jump to this $15. I'm really disappointed with this $15 increase. I didn't even want the $8 increase because it came too soon. You was just at $7, and then 2 years later you jumped to $8. That's unacceptable. The economy doesn't work that way. That's a symbol of greed and economic breakdown. See, when you raise the minimum wage means a minimum allotted amount that you're able to pay someone and have federal benefits. So if you're getting federal money and federal grants, like most of us do, especially business owners, you have to start paying your people at the $15 rate, entry level. So let's say a mechanic that's already certified, you know how to do brakes, you know how to do engines, transmissions, and all that stuff. You pay that mechanic $21 an hour. An apprentice or a helper passing him tools, you pay him $5.15. That's appropriate. He ain't doing no labor. He's learning how to do the job. He's watching. He's observing. He's passing tools. You're telling me you can't do that for $8, but I got to pay you $15 to pass the mechanic some tools to make repairs that you don't know how to do, that you're not trained to do, that you're not certified to do. And then what happens? Once you become a mechanic, you get a $7 raise? Of course not. Nobody ever, and this is according to business, nobody has ever made a $5 or $7 raise. When you get raises, you might get a bonus. You get raises, most companies, and I'm just talking about the state of Maryland. I don't know about nobody else. Most places you get $1 or $2 raises because you've only been here for 1 year. The longer you've been here, the more you get. To get a $7 raise means you had to been here 12, 13 years. And as you get these raises, it goes towards your retirement, takes Social Security out. So this is the downside. People don't understand. Now, if you're making $15 an hour, you have changed the barrier of the poverty line because minimum wage is the poverty line. So you raise the poverty line to $21. You made the high class people or the middle class people back into the lower class. Now they're in lower class, their tax rates go up, and then they're homeless. File for certain tax breaks because they're in the poverty line. Their credit report goes down because they're in the poverty line. They need more secured income because now they're in the poverty line. Banks like the minimum wage to go up because they can give you higher interest rates because now you're in the poverty line. The more money you make, the less interest they take. But now the poverty line has rose, the interest goes back up because you're in the poverty line. It don't make sense to you, but if you put it on paper, I see. For example, let's say minimum wage was $100 an hour. How much do you think a loaf of bread would be? If minimum wage was $100 an hour, a loaf of bread would be $625. So as you raise the poverty line or the minimum wage line, you're creating homelessness and you're creating starvation. There's no business that can sustain itself except the government and pay its employees $100 an hour. That will put Bill Gates from upper class to middle class, because he don't even make that kind of money if $100 was minimum wage. That would mean 10% of his income, because now you've raised a 1% margin to a 100 or 1,000% margin, which makes it $100 an hour. They might even eliminate coins, because they would have little to no value if you're getting paid $100 minimum wage. The cost of a car will be equal to the cost of a house. Paying airplane prices to get a four-door, four-inline engine car. You're paying millions of dollars to get a cheap airplane and 5 digits to get an airplane ticket. Outrageous. But that's what we hate it to, because people don't know the consequences of their actions. People are begging, oh, we don't have that money to survive. First of all, playing the bullshit. You got to play the card and play the cards right. Take everything from a case-by-case situation. Most of these people out here making minimum wage, smoking weed. And I'm just going to put the shit out there. All the money you spend on weed, $5 to get you high. You're probably smoking every day. You might smoke 3 or 4 times a day. Let's say you're smoking 4 times a day. That means that you're going to spend $20 on a nickel bag, or $20 for that one day. 7 days out of the week, that's $140 for the week. Out of that minimum wage, half of your goddamn paycheck is $140, and you're smoking on weed. So, of course, you can't survive. My baby needs Pampers. Well, for $140, I can get groceries. I can fill my gas tank up, and still have $20 or $30 left over to play with till my next paycheck without smoking weed. Second case scenario, most people on minimum wage, alcoholics. Drink all this goddamn liquor and beer, 6-pack here. Give me double juice there. Give me 40 ounce. Give me 40. Give me this. Give me this. You know, drink all your goddamn shit up. And then me, a taxpayer, already in a struggle, I got to lay off employees. Because now you're talking about $15 an hour. Do you think after the COVID, you already owe people back pay? Can you afford to bring them back to work? Doors open up again? No. Most waitresses work for tips. That's the nature of the business. You have a marginal rate. Like when I was a limousine driver at Dave L., it was $6 an hour. Minimum wage at the time was $8, some change, for people who want to know. $6 an hour base pay, which is what you would get on the clock period. And then, so the ride was $1,000, and I got $150 to go on the ride. So I got $150 for the ride. That was the trip pay. And then let's say I work a 10-hour day. I would get $60 because 6 times 10 is 60. You add that 60 to 150, and your check will be 210. I'm sorry. That's just for that one day. And you might throw some tip money in there. A $20 tip. So that goes in your pocket. Go in tomorrow, do something else that may hold you a little longer. Might do a transfer run to the airport that has a flat rate fee. Get that flat rate fee plus the $6 an hour. So you made money. You get to work to make money. You can't get money. You can't get paid. Calling out sick, calling out late, no show, coming in half a day, going home early. The people who you're giving the money to are the fuck-ups. The people who actually out there struggling, you fucking them up. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody needs to do what they're supposed to do for your part. That's one thing about the American society that I hate is this calamity shit. I hate calamity. and I want everybody to be treated as an individual. Stop lumping me in a goddamn group and a goddamn classification. Like the driver's license, lead example. Because people don't know how to drive or they have some type of mental disease, now you get a certain age, you got to take an exam to keep your driver's license once you start hitting 60 and such. Or your driver's license got to expire sooner because somebody else is having problems. Why does those people having problems have to affect me, who's never had a problem? And I'm required to have a DOT physical for my license. I have to be able to have a 5-year or 6-year driver's license. Don't give me no 2-year shit because I turned 60. That's crazy. Go back in 2 years, get your eyes examined, and do it again. You know. I think everything should be case by case. If you have an accident because you can't see, eventually insurance company is going to drop you. And you can't have no driver's license without insurance, or you can't drive without it. So, that'll take care of it. Let's go to what would you do? I only got 2 situations here that they gave me. What would you do if you caught your spouse in bed with another man or another woman when they told you that they were at work? And they had some case study notes. It was a case study where what's that word? Estranged. It was a case study when an estranged spouse came home, found their loved one entangled in a web of lust, and proceeded to pull a weapon on both of them. It was on the news, and it was never heard from or of. It was never heard of, not from. It was never heard of again, not heard from again. So what would you do, Green?
Fuck God Christ with this shit. The case study, I mean, heard a story, little stories every once, well, heard stories once in a blue moon. I mean, Christ.
No, I said if you came home and found your spouse or loved one in the bed with another man or another woman, what would you do? The case study just talks about what had happened in a similar incident.
Which
I
always
think I
happens,
did do this on the MCA cop.
Which always happens in once in a blue moon every 2 or 3 months of every year. You see it in movies too as well. I will basically, I hate talking about my situation. Anyway, I basically kick them both out. Call the cops, kick everybody both out. That's all it is. Put bonds in the middle of things, and you get arrested, and you be filed for attempted murder and all that crap. And you have like a bunch of lawyers and a bunch of other else. There's the consequences for every freaking action.
Now, depending on what state you're in, and I'm not going to name the state, but I don't want anybody saying, I'm moving to that state so I can do it. Now, certain states, they have a law called loss of love. And Fantasia definitely knows what that is. If a wife finds her husband and begs for another woman, not only is she entitled to half of his income, she can also sue the woman for half of her income as well. And that's what happened to Fantasia. When she's messing with that married man, he tried to sue her for half, and she tried to commit suicide. I don't understand that. What am I kill myself for? You knew the man was married. You know, kick yourself because you got a court. You still gonna owe the money.